Hey guys, welcome back to Foxes Abroad. Sorry it's been uncharacteristically long since my last video I put out here. I'm just going to show you a little bit of what's going on, a little this, little that, progress updates and things of such. And at the end I'll wrap it up with really what's going on with me over here in England right now and why videos have been taking so long. Alright, so here we got the Turbo 363 notchback. Our primary project car over here. So what I'm dealing with right now is the breather system. So we had this Chinese style little breather catch can. It had old scrubby pad stuffed in here to kind of keep it, the condensating on that and settle into the bottom. But after a couple blasts down the track, this thing was puking oil all over the place. Getting that corner of the engine compartment all full of oil. And couldn't really do a whole lot about it at the track because of where it's positioned and things like that. So I got back and this is 2 drains basically of oil. The first one after we got back from our track outing, and I cleaned it out, drove for, I don't know, maybe 100 miles again, and I got another, maybe a quarter of this. It was, from that last 100 miles. But yeah, for some reason, this combination, these valve covers, this new engine, I don't have a lot of time on it, but it is puking a lot of oil out of the breathers. And I have a couple of theories of what's going on. And my biggest one, because there's no real blow-by, there's no smoke out of the tailpipe like it's burning oil. So these are Anderson Ford Motorsport valve covers, with the AN fittings, on the rear. They're not baffled back there. And I don't know if it's letting oil get pushed up to the breathers. I don't know if this is a Moroso 7-quart oil pan, and I don't know if I should knock it down to 6 quarts, if it's getting, with the stroker, if it's getting frothed up and putting a lot of oil up through the system that way. I don't know if the lifters are they're Johnson short travel lifters in this engine. I don't know if they're pushing a lot of oil to the top end, causing the oil to go in. So I don't know if it's just engine braking, a little bit more miles. There's barely, not even probably 500 miles on this engine. So there's a lot of I don't knows about the combination. But for now, I know it runs good, drives good. When the breather is empty, everything is fine. So what I'm going to do for now is I got a bigger breather tank. So the plan is to stick this further into the corner there, right there by the shock tower, because it won't fit, where the air conditioning condenser accumulator tank was. That's where I had the Chinese one bolted to. So once I get this fitted up, what it had was like a petcock style drain, like a radiator style drain, and that wasn't going to work because I can't drain this thing because it's right against the frame rail there. So what I got going on is I got a Mishimoto remote drain line kit, and it comes with this valve. So all I got to do is fish this down the side of the frame rail around the exhaust, which is wrapped, so it shouldn't affect the tubing. And when I want to, I guess it should normally be like that. And whenever I want to drain the breather tank, all I got to do is get under the car, and so it'll drain the oil tank remotely, and then put it back to normal. Get a couple passes in, it'll do its job, and I can still drive it until we figure out the oil level or let it break in some more or do some other things. But this is a short-term fix for now, and I think it'll be okay for a good while until we figure out possibly what the real culprit is, because it is that ain't just vapor. That is like just pure oil getting pushed out into the lines. And I don't know if kind of routing the lines up a little higher So it's like not just running straight across and into the breather tank or downhill into the breather tank. So let the oil kind of drain back in, you know, as you make a rip or something like that. But all I'm doing right now is fighting with fittings and making stuff right, because this is real close to the bottom. So I ordered a 90 coming out of here. So this is when you're working with A-end fittings and painful adapters and trying to figure it out and science it up. You know, this is what's taken this project a little longer. That is this project. And here's the next one. So we still got John's, you know, monster Clevor build here. We're just still waiting on ZSR Engines to send us the oil control ring support rails. He said he got them weeks ago. Said he'd let me know when they're in the mail. You know, we have been waiting on him for various things, you know, because I got my engine built by him. Took 13 months. John got these heads from Higgins Heads through ZSR. They took an unfathomably long of a time to get. Pete got his stroker kit done through ZSR. And it's the little things are killing us with time, because by the time he gets things done and then they get shipped and get over here, and man, but waiting on these oil rings. He has them, and it's just frustrating because we're waiting to put the pistons on the rings, put the oil pump on, put the oil pan on, lovely, and then we can just keep going and get parts out of boxes and things like that. I got everything cleaned up. We're waiting on a stupid set of $20 parts, and it's just frustrating. So we're still waiting on the oil control rings, oil rail support rings to come from ZSR, and that's this project on hold. All right, and we have the old 5 liter, you know, from the coupe that we bent all the 6 of the 8 connecting rods on. So I had a friend kind of lined up, was going to cut him a deal on the block and some parts. And, you know, times are tough, not for only me, but other people. So he kind of backed out of the deal. And in order to keep the project rolling, you know, make some spare money on the side, I figured I'd start building another engine. And so I ordered some pistons from Summit, some 20 thou over, and some rings. The rings went back order and back order and back order until December. They're just 20 thou over metric piston rings for like an Explorer. So canceled the piston rings so they would ship the pistons, because Summit won't ship anything internationally unless everything is together with the order. So they shipped the pistons. I ordered the rings from Rock Auto, and they're on the way. And then once I get that, then we can get the block bored and honed, and then I can figure out what kind of crank and everything I want to run in it. So, but you know, just a slow roll project, and build it as I get money and time, and hopefully we'll build another engine up together and put it on the run stand and probably sell it, make some money. So before I left for the States, and you know, a couple videos back, you can see on my shop garage videos that I made this last summer, and we wanted to get to the track, and I was poised to go. Pete wasn't going to make it. John probably could make it, but the way things were working out with a lot of weather and schedule, and I was going to go to the track, and then the next day I was going to get on the plane to leave, and I thought it was a wise decision not to go, because if I broke the car, man, would I be in trouble trying to get the car back and get everything done by the time I had to leave the next day. And it just wasn't a smart decision. I mean, it's not like these are daily drivers where you're not really risking breaking stuff. I got a pretty high risk of breaking stuff. An accident happens, who knows, you know, worst case scenario, but it was just too much for me to want to do with such a little time window and margin for error, if you want to call it that. So it was wise that we didn't go to the track and save the money anyway for my time back in the States. Okay, I did a lot of stuff there, so I'm kind of glad I just, you know, going to the track isn't cheap. So saved a little bit of money, Didn't break the car, and it was just a wiser decision anyway because the weather was really kind of scooch. So yeah, that's why we haven't done anything at the track lately, and it's fall in England. The weather is lousy. Tractors on the road, mud on the roads, rain, and it's that time of year where classics come off the roads. You save the money on road tax, and so I took the car off the road already, so it's not going to get driven again until next spring. But that gives us downtime to work on other projects and move things along. So, because I still have the other short control arms, I got the Aerospace vented front disc brakes to install. I want to get a set of the rear disc brakes from foxbodybrakes.com, just like John has on his. I want to replace the master cylinder to work with it all. And I also want to plumb in my line lock brake, which isn't easy when you have the stock master cylinder because it has two separate outputs for the front brakes instead of just one. So that will all tie together, and that's probably going to be the big last push through the winter and spring before this thing's ready to drive again for next summer and have all new brakes in the car. All right, and the last big project push I got, this is a long, slow term thing I'm just massing the parts for, but this is a coil unplug ignition harness kit for Terminator X. So if you buy a Fox body or a Ford Terminator X kit, it comes with the wiring and things commensurate for TFI style distributors or regular style, what they call it, HyperSpark distributors or whatever that Summit sells, or regular Pro Billet distributors. It's not commensurate like if you buy an LS Terminator X. It has all individual ignition coils, and sad to say, those individual ignition coils is a better way of doing it than a distributor style ignition setup. So I'm slowly building the parts up to go coil on plug. So if you saw in the initial builds of this, I bought an Innovators West balancer for this combo because it has the flying magnets on it. So I have the crank trigger portion of this sorted out. I can convert this for the cam trigger, or I can get one of those little stubby distributor outputs for my distributor outputs. You have to plumb this wiring harness into the Terminator, and once you do it to the Ford kit, it's almost the same wiring harness then as the LS kit. And then I need to figure out how I'm going to arrange the coils if I get new valve covers and put them on the valve covers or remote mount them. I really like to put them on the valve covers. They just look better. And so I'm slowly getting the parts to put coil on plug ignition on this car and really kind of step up in the modern age of real ignition and fuel injection. Plus with the crank trigger, you're going to get rock solid timing. It may not give me any power, but I still just want to try it. I still want to try it and see what it does and go down those roads. But it's going to take time to get all the parts, because if I wanted to go crazy, I'd get the Holley Smart Coil kit. I mean, but that's big money. And then the valve covers or whatever kind of bracketry to hold it. It's going to take some time. That may not happen quickly, but I'm just slowly getting the parts to do it, and this wiring harness is just one of those things. So I'll hang on to this for when more parts start coming and I figure out more what I want to do, because everybody online that's ever done small block Ford coil on plug ignitions that have made a video about it sucks. You can't figure out what they did. They're not really telling you anything. They're almost like they're trying to get sponsored by Holley the way they do their videos, and they never get into the particulars or details, or they're not doing it on Terminator, they're doing it on like Haltech, or they're doing it with like a Crown Victoria computer that has like a coil pack that already has provisions for remote coils or separate coils, and it's just nothing's going down the road of a guy with a Fox body with Terminator X putting them on his own car, showing you and telling you all the wiring details and the ins and outs, getting it in the computer, setting it up, And that's the kind of video I'd like to make in the end, showing guys clearly and concisely how to do this. And, but that's going to be a while, and it's going to be a lot more money, but I'm going to get there. Sooner or later, it's going to happen. So we get to the big question at the end of the video of why the videos haven't been really getting put out anymore like I used to. Part of the reason, or the main reason, is my job over here in England is in question right now. The past 3.5 years since the current administration has come to power, you know, if you guys don't know, I'm retired Air Force, and I'm over here in the UK working as a contractor on a military base. And well, the second time in less than 4 years, I'm going to have to get another job. Well, actually, this is the third time. So as soon as this administration came into effect, all Donald Trump era defense contracts went under review, and reduced spending, eliminated the position I was at. So I fell into another position, which was almost as good as what I had originally. And now that contract has run its course, and with reduced government spending again, that position is being eliminated. So I am endeavoring to find another job over here, just try to stay over here and keep my life goals on track, keep my family here. I got wife and kids, I got kids in school. So I'm trying to keep this going at least for another year over here, because if you've seen the other the Dream Garage videos, the plans to build a house on that property are going to happen really soon for me. We have a nest egg saved, we're waiting. I mean, right now we're talking blueprints with a contractor in the States. Once the blueprints are set, it's in the Northeast, so during the winter months, for 3 months, nothing gets done. But those are the times to plan for your house build, talking with the township, coordinating contractors and supplies and things like that, and getting the loans and stuff. And I need to get another job that I'm secure in order for the bank to want to give me a loan to push this house project forward. So I have to stay here and try to fight for what I can get any scraps right now for a job. So that's part of the stress I've been going through. Try not to spend any money, because if there's a period of time where I'm not working, well, all the money that we have for rent, for utilities, for driving around, getting this and that, getting food, all comes out of our savings in our pocket. So haven't been buying a lot of parts, haven't been doing a lot of driving, haven't been doing a lot of anything in probably the past month and a half, because of that simple fact that my position is in question and jeopardy right now. So with the stress of that and all the little things going on, John's not up to much. His car's running good. He's trying to get this project moving forward, but we're waiting on ZSR, just to send us the simplest little parts, just so we can keep the project rolling. Pete, we got stuff going for him on probably Monday, what is it? Okay, of course, the watch hand is right over where I need to see. The 7th of October, we have to take his car like a 2.5-3 hour drive each way to drop it off to get some custom exhaust work done, to get his exhaust tied into the headers, through the X-pipe, and get it all sussed out. Because it's not like the States where you can just, many places will do exhaust work for you. It's not that way over here in England. And anybody that, especially if you want to find somebody that does it in stainless and you want it like V-band clamps, or you want it altered and custom, you're spoiled for choice if you just have a basic Fox body and you want shorties to an H-pipe of some sort. I guess you can't really get a regular non-catted H-pipe anymore, but then the cat back and so on and so forth. You can bolt it up yourself in your driveway, with some jack stands. But man, when you're doing custom stuff and you want stainless and you're over here, finding anybody to do it is tough. And you know, it's going to cost them a fair bit of money and hours and all the time driving back and forth, because you got to drive it there, leave it, which is, you know, you never like leaving your car anywhere. But it's a race shop, so it shouldn't be bad. He's probably done loads of cars in the past. But I'll be filming that when we drop it off and pick it up and the changes, so that'll be a video in itself. And then once the exhaust is done, it's the off season. We're gonna be pulling his engine back out, tearing it to bits, fixing the rear main oil seal issue. And unfortunately, it's not just as simple as swapping a seal. We're taking everything out 100% to the bare block. Got to get the block machined, because I didn't know there was a difference between a 302 rear main oil seal and a 351 rear main oil seal. So, but yeah, we got to get that done. Then get his engine all back together, his car back together. And he's ready to rock and roll, but it's going to take some time. You know, this is just boring, crappy little projects like that exhaust. I mean, people like hearing exhaust, but you know, this is all custom. This is nothing that you could really relate to. It'll be neat and fun, but lots of little projects, and right now I'm scrambling for work. So hopefully I'll be able to stay here for a couple more years. I'm hoping. Get my house project going. Keep doing stuff in the garage. You know, me, John, Pete, and we'll keep pushing out content as and when we can. So thank you guys. If you stuck with me to the end, I really applaud you. You know, pray for me. I'm trying to get some work, and I'll keep trying to put out some videos, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Thanks for sticking around. Bye-bye.